And the other issue that we've talked about, you know, we've gone through the injured worker, the plight that they have to go through to get to you if they're not getting treated right, then the informal conference, and then having to go through the administrative hearing. Now, let's just say, let's take our example even more so flesh it out for the people out there. Let's talk about disability and SSI. So what if they find that, hey, this guy is permanently disabled, he will never be able to walk, climb, sit for prolonged periods, do the work that he had to do, and it looks like disability for the rest of his life. I hear nightmares about that too, that the stereotype is when you apply for Social Security and disability, you hold on to your hat because you're going to have to apply 3 times because they automatically deny you twice. I hear that so many times from people that they are denied, just flat denied, no matter how good their case is the first couple of times. Is that true?
Well, not exactly. I mean, sometimes when the case is outright and all the doctors are saying the same thing, this person is disabled, they have serious injuries, sometimes they're approved right from the start, but that isn't typical. That's not typical.
It's rare, isn't it?
It is rare, but it does happen. I've seen it happen with some of my workers' compensation clients where, you know, I advise them at some point, you know, I really think you need to apply for Social Security disability because you're not getting better, your workers' compensation is getting ready to run out, and a lot of people make the mistake, they think they have to be disabled for 1 year before they can apply.
Oh,
that's not necessarily the case. If your disability is expected to last beyond a year, then you can go ahead and apply. You don't have to wait to be disabled for an entire year. But let me back up because we're just about wrapping up the workers' comp. If the disability is so severe and their benefits run out, they're still entitled, once they reach maximum medical improvement in workers' comp, they're still entitled to receive impairment income benefits.
Okay, what is that?
And that is another form of benefits. That's when they're not receiving temporary disability benefits, but their impairment is so severe that they have a permanent impairment. And that's a designated doctor evaluates the injured worker and evaluates the injured worker and provides a percentage of permanent whole body impairment.
Man, I see those percentages. They're like, you know, I was a nurse practitioner. We were trained how to do those. I mean, even the most jacked up person, the most injured, gets 15, 20%. I mean, it's like you got to be blind, no legs and arms to get over 50% disability.
Oh yeah,
I mean, the system is set up and stacked up so high against the injured worker.
It is very difficult, but 15 is the magic number because something happens if you get a 15% impairment rating or higher, then the injured worker is entitled to receive impairment income benefits or supplemental impairment income benefits for life.
Okay.
And generally they have to, it's kind of like being in unemployment, they have to keep track that they looked for so many jobs in this given period and they were unable to find jobs. Unless they're under the what they call DARS, it's a vocational rehabilitative program. During that period they don't have to do that and they're entitled to impairment income benefits.
Well, and you've talked about that on the workers' compensation. Somebody's come to you, an injured worker, and it looks like they are going to be that quote-unquote magic number, 15%. What kind of hurdles do they have to go through to get to that point where they're fighting for the disability? Now, let's switch gears a little bit, and we've got a few minutes left in this segment, so I really want to cover just an overview, and I hope you come back and we'll talk about it in detail, but an overview of Social Security disability. What are those workers looking at as far as the obstacles under that system?
Well, you have to apply first off. I mean, you won't get any disability benefits if you don't apply. And the Social Security Administration has really made it a little bit easier because now you can apply over the telephone, you can apply online if you're computer or internet savvy. You can even visit a local field office, a Social Security Administration office, and apply there. It's usually advisable that they call in advance, you know, so that way they don't have a long wait. But it boils down to this: if they don't have skills that they can transfer to another job, and their disability is expected to last beyond a year, and they're either unable to obtain or retain substantial gainful activity, and they have enough Social Security credits, then they're generally eligible for Social Security disability.
You know, there's not a lot of attorneys that handle these areas of the law, and it's not the most lucrative area, but it's sometimes the most rewarding. Can you tell us a little bit in the last couple of minutes we have, maybe flesh out an example of a client, Mr. X, that you've represented, or Mrs. Y that you've represented, and that you've seen a positive outcome in this?
Sure. We had, for example, and this is a common thing. Say, for example, someone who has had a job that has been very arduous, heavy demand, physical demanding, requires a lot of endurance, stamina, maybe a lot of bending, stooping, climbing, a job that is classified as a heavy, physical requirement. Little education, have no administrative skills, clerical skills, or anything else, and now their body is shot. They can't perform this heavy, physical, demanding job. They have no skills they can transfer anywhere else, and it's a lot easier to prove that they're disabled because they can't do the work that they've done for the past 25 years anymore, and they have no education that provided them the ability to obtain employment in the community beyond the physical labor. And they have enough credits. They've worked long enough to earn and to be entitled to disability benefits. Sometimes all of that is not fleshed out there in the initial application, and if they get denied, then they have 60 days to request what's called reconsideration. And it's the opportunity, sometimes if they have an attorney, it's the opportunity to gather additional medical evidence, perhaps even witness statements from other people, and submit those additional forms or that additional evidence to the Social Security Administration for reconsideration. And if that doesn't work, because this might be a paper review and they can't see the big picture, then if that gets denied, you have the opportunity to request for what's called an administrative law hearing, administrative law judge hearing, where it's an administrative judge and you get to go look at your records, your medical records that are on file, you present your case, and perhaps you don't meet what's called a listing. And I know we're running out of time and we're not going to have time to cover all the listing.
But generally speaking, it's just like the workers' compensation. You've got a mini trial that you've got to go through, and you've also participated in those.
That's right.
And so, and I want to bring you back just for this, perhaps down the road, Social Security disability, because this is a topic all itself. I think you've done a wonderful job of bringing it through. But in the last 30 seconds we've got, what's the message out there for the injured worker you'd like to convey?
Report your injury right away. Try to get witness statements right from the start. A lot of times witnesses might get scared that they're going to lose their job, but get the witness statement. You might never have to use it, but if your injury is much more serious, you've at least covered your bases, and it'll be easier to get your injury compensable, so that way you can get the medical treatment and the disability benefits you deserve.
Well, and you've been listening to Joel Gonzalez. You can reach him at 361-887-6363, and also by email, and that information is going to be on your screen. This is Attorney Joe Flores inviting you to join us next time for another episode of South Texas Crossfire. Special thanks to our sponsors, thematthewslawfirm.com and rhodesvela.com, along with Vasquez Flores Home Health and Tommy Holbein Impact Credit Group USA, as well as Top Gun Paint and Body off of Columbia here in Corpus Christi. Thank you very much, Johnny Gaskins. We're out of time. We've got to go, but if you have any specific input or maybe ideas for the show, give us a call, 361-887-8670, or email me at joe@flotuslawfirm.com. Thank you, and God bless.